Have you ever nicked your ball sack? Ow! Manscaped's Lawnmower 2.0 was specifically designed to make manscaping easy. I'm talking butt, balls, body. Featuring skin-safe technology, this trimmer won't nick or snag your nuts. 100% waterproof and shock resistant. Head over to manscaped.com and get yourself the Lawnmower 2.0. And for a limited time, get free shipping and a free Shed travel bag.
This is another CLNS Media Patriots Roundtable. I'm your host, Nick Qualia, sitting here with Marvizon and Mike Molyneux. Some tough news for the Patriots this week. David Andrews, their starting center, very talented starting center, captain of the team, captain of the offensive line, goes down. It sounds like it's most likely going to be for the season. I think protection-wise over his longevity, his health, I think he probably should take most of the season off. Blood clots in his lungs, very scary. He's got to take blood thinners now, and that means that he can't be doing any, essentially play football, contact sports. So David Andrews is the brain of the offensive line. He's the captain of the offensive line. Something I don't think a lot of people understand. People think that the center just hikes the ball and then hits the guy in front of him. He's like Tom Brady too in regards to checking out the defenses, calling out what linebackers, calling out defensive packages, calling out linebackers that he thinks are going to be blitzing, all that jazz. So losing David Andrews, it's a decent loss. So guys, that's the question. How big of a loss is the loss of David Andrews? And I'm going to say my assumption for the season. Mike, we'll kick it off with you.
First and foremost, all the best wishes and prayers up to David Andrews. That's a scary situation for sure. And, football is great. It's obviously putting money in his pocket and is taking care of him and his family. But, his health comes first. So, take all the time he needs and wish him the best. When it comes to the Patriots and what they're going to try to do in terms of replacing what David Andrews brings to the team, I think, obviously they'll look for a player to fill in that role. But one thing that the Patriots have, one person that the Patriots has that's really held the team down over the last several seasons is one of the great offensive line coaches in Dante Starnecchia. And I really feel as if whoever they choose to step up, obviously, Nick, you said it best. It's a very important position on that offensive line, the center, in terms of what else.
It's undervalued.
It's undervalued, and I feel as if whoever they do choose to be put in that position, Dante Starnecchia would do a hell of a job making sure they're properly prepared to step up and not only hike the ball obviously, but be that next guy after Brady to really pay attention to what the defense is doing. I think the Patriots, yes, you wish all the best for David Andrews, but I think the Patriots are in a good place because they have Dante Starnecchia, who's been a hell of an offensive line coach these last couple of years for the Patriots and have led to a lot of the reasons why Tom Brady stays very protected in that pocket.
All right, Marv, before we jump over to you, guys, the Patriots Roundtable is powered by betonline.ag. Go to betonline.ag and use promo code CLNS50 to claim your welcome bonus. That is CLNS50. Now, remember, so David Andrews' replacement, most likely going to be assumed, although they did trade for. I knew about only one trade for an offensive lineman. Mike, I guess you said now there's a second guy, or Marv, I don't forget who said that. Somebody else.
I get no respect here. That's crazy.
Whenever Mark says something, it's Mike's voice coming in me. I don't know why. Ted Karras, though, to me, presumed he's gonna be the center. He's gonna be the starting center. I don't care about these next two guys that they brought in. So, Marv, what do you think here? How big is the loss of David Andrews to the Patriots offense?
Yeah, you kind of stole my thunder a little bit, Nick. I was gonna mention, Ted Karras. He has to be the next man up. Like Mike said, our thoughts and prayers go out to David Andrews because blood clots is one thing, but when you're talking about in your lungs, it gets even more scarier. So, best wishes to him. But it's the next man up mentality, and it's a little concerning. I know we have Dante Scarnecchia, great, one of the greatest offensive lineman coach, if not the greatest. But now you're talking about a line that has a little more inexperience. You're talking about Isaiah Wynn, who's going to be in the left tackle, and maybe Ted Karras or someone who they just the two linemen that they just traded for, one from the Ravens and one from the Cardinals. But one thing that
Yeah,
you've
what Mike
watched
said.
one thing we watched all preseason is there's been a lot of penalties, a lot of false starts, and these things add up. They kill drives, and when you have the inexperience on the line, some of these things can happen. And Brady's gonna have to really start working a lot more with Ted Karras because obviously he's not used to it. Yes, Ted Karras has a little bit of experience. He's been with the Patriots, I believe, for 3 years now, so that can be helpful. But penalties, that's one thing I'm concerned about. The false starts, getting in rhythm with the whole line, because it's essentially going to be a new group. You're losing your captain, not only the captain of offensive line, but the captain of the New England Patriots, a locker room guy. So it's gonna hurt the Patriots a little bit, but I don't think that's gonna be something that breaks their back.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned basically everything that I wanted to talk about here. The big part of this that makes me not as worried as it could is having Dante Scarnecchia here. I have it in bold capital letters, the savior. Having Dante Scarnecchia here is an absolute game changer. Maybe if he wasn't the offensive line coach, and perhaps, I mean, you said maybe, quite possibly could be the greatest offensive line coach of all time. I think that he is. I think he is the GOAT of offensive line coaches. If he wasn't here, I'd be a little bit more worried. And also with having Ted Karras, it's not like this guy is brand new. It's not like he's a rookie who just got drafted to be the eventual
Right.
center who you're just tossing in right now. This is going to be his 4th year in the league. So while he could be more inexperienced because he hasn't been a starter, he's played in all 16 games. At least he stepped on the field in the first 3 seasons or 2 seasons and 13 games in last year. So having Ted Karras there as that next man up doesn't worry me as much either. But you mentioned the inexperience, and that's a part that does make me a little shaky with this because Isaiah Wynn, nobody knows what he's going to be this year. He's looked okay. I actually think he's looked pretty decent in the preseason, but you know my feelings about the Achilles. Tearing an Achilles, it's terrifying to me. You don't know how this guy's going to come back this season once full 100% games start. And then now you're adding Ted Karras to the center, where David Andrews was, again, your captain. I think that is the only thing that really would make me too concerned with this. It's a huge loss. Don't get me wrong.
Definitely.
Losing David Andrews is a massive loss. This guy is undervalued for people because not a lot of people pay attention to the offensive line. This guy is great. He's a big part of this team. So losing him for, again, what I assume is going to be the entire season, that's a massive, massive loss. This guy is a leader. This guy is incredibly skilled. Remember, he took over for Brian Stork, and a lot of people thought Brian Stork, that guy got destroyed with concussions, but a lot of people thought Brian Stork was going to be the next center for a long time. Then this kid, David Andrews, shows up and just steals his position right away. David Andrews, what did he play at Georgia? David Andrews from Georgia shows up, takes his position. So I think that losing him is massive. But with Dante Scarnecchia, though, and Ted Karras, I think it's going to be serviceable. I don't think the line's going to be as good as it would have been with David Andrews on it. But I think it's still going to be fine. I still think I have a lot of faith in this offensive line this season.